Hello, world. It is the Rich Diet Podcast. We are back. We have an amazing episode today, and we are going to be starting it off different than ever before.
We want to come in on some spiritual, some peaceful vibe, and Juju over here, she basically decided to, to say, yo, we need to come in a differently, more blessed. So we're going to set a different vibe. I want you to, set a little prayer for us, because it is a holy month. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying, Ja?
Let's go.
Let's go.
I'm with it.
Let's do it.
Okay, so we're going to hold hands.
Hold hands?
Yeah, we're going to hold hands. Okay, you can close
eyes?
if you want. You can leave them open. You can
Do
close
we have to close our eyes?
I'm going to leave mine open.
Okay.
But it's
I'm
up to you
gonna close my
guys. Whatever you
eyes.
guys want.
All right.
Okay. Thank you to the Most High for allowing us to, first of all, have another beautiful day of life to celebrate, to be able to sit down here on the Rich Diet Podcast and embrace a beautiful conversation with friends. We are so grateful. Thank you.
Thank you.
I mean.
Aaron is having a lot of fun. I don't think the horns go with the prayer, but he's excited.
Yeah.
He had a Red Bull. He's got some wings right now. Okay.
God forgive me if the horns don't go along with the prayer, but I'm excited.
It's a little
I'm excited.
Little remix.
Yeah, a little remix, you know what I'm saying?
And I think that's like a beautiful way to, enter into almost anything that you, anything that you're going to go do, to start, say a prayer before it. I think that's such a good habit.
Yeah.
Yeah,
and
I agree.
To have God involved in everything, it kind of just makes it blessed. And it's like, I feel like, you're putting that into the universe, like, hey, bless this venture that I'm about to go into, so that it may be fruitful, you know what I mean? And really tie God into your plans. So I really appreciated that. That was a sick intro.
Yeah, truly appreciate that. That was different because, usually we just do things without even taking the time to reflect or even give, just being grateful, and that was great. That was great. I appreciate
you guys liked it.
Throwing that out in the air, because I was like, and then this is the month of Ramadan for all my people that's fasting. I just broke my fast about an hour ago, so it's like a prayer is something that we are constantly doing, especially during this month of Ramadan. And you know what, that was amazing. I appreciate you.
I'm just gonna add that it's
grounds
needed.
you,
Yeah. Sorry,
right?
I'm just gonna add that it's definitely needed.
It's needed.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And our daily
Our
adventures.
daily lives and shit. Yeah.
And it's only fitting that an author and a poet, someone who writes about self-help, would lead in with something like that. So I think it was definitely on character. And on that, let's get in a little bit more about yourself. You're our special guest today.
Cool.
So as we said, she's an author. So maybe you start off about your book and kind of the things you've done in your career.
Yeah, so I published my first book of poetry. It's called She's Ready for War. It's here somewhere.
Hold on, let me grab it. Sorry.
It's here. Oh, yeah, it's right there. So this...
Yes, sir.
Yeah, so here's the book. So basically, I started writing this book 6 years ago.
Wow.
But unknowingly, I wasn't writing it thinking I'm going to publish this and make it a book. Yeah, for sure. And then about 2 years ago, I realized I had a collection with a certain type of theme, and I was noticing whoa, this is the past 6 years of my life. Trauma, heartbreak, loss, grieving stages, but also moments of victory and overcoming a lot of the issues that I was going through. And so I was like, you know what, I'm gonna turn this into a book. And my mom also motivated me to do it because she's a published author and she also writes poetry.
Oh, really? Nice.
Yeah, so I was like, I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna challenge myself and I'm just gonna self-publish. Why not? And I decided to make the theme war. I wanted to center it around the idea of war.
Yeah.
She's ready for war.
She's ready for war.
She's
and
ready.
Basically
What's the significance of that?
life is war.
Right.
Life is constant battle.
I like that.
And for me, I found the best way to enjoy life is to embrace the battle and embrace the challenges and find a way to say, okay, you know what? Shit is always going to hit the fan. Things are often going to go wrong. How do I endure that in a way where I'm actually enjoying it also. Because if you're like going against the grain and resisting the battles and resisting the problems, you're going to be so miserable in life. And so I just wanted to enjoy it. I wanted to figure out how to enjoy life. And so for me, understanding how to heal through the different phases of life. So I created 3 chapters in the book. So the first one is centered around being submerged and under attack. So this is when you're like just underwater. There's so much shit happening and you're underwater. Can I swear?
Yeah, let it fly. Let it fly.
Okay, cool.
Talk your shit, girl.
Just want to make sure. You're just underwater and you're helpless. And then the second stage is survival mode. So this is very like, so it's called survival mode, under attack. And this is like your stage of healing where you're very ego driven. And a lot of your actions are coming out of pride just to protect yourself, right? And it's a very needed stage. Like there's a lot of moments in my life where I'm so happy that I led with my ego because it protected me.
Totally get that.
Yeah, and then the last chapter is called Clarity, and it's Clarity Freedom. And then that's like, you know, you've faced a lot of your shadows and your inner demons, and now you're liberated, and you're ready for war.
I love that. I love that.
Sick.
That's amazing.
Thank you.
Yeah, I think that's like super amazing. I don't know how old are you? How old are you?
I'm 26.
26. Yeah. So to be a published author, I think that's so amazing.
At
Did
this-
you
at this
write
age,
down?
You're pretty young for a published author, but that's amazing.
Thank you.
Did you write down like all of your stuff on paper, or was this like a collection of notes on your phone, or like where did you do all this writing?
Both, actually. The first half of the book I wrote on this notebook that I have, and then the second half was just like when I'm like in my day but I have an idea and I don't want to lose it, I'll just like quickly write. When you're in flow state, you could be like doing anything. You could be like writing an email, but then an idea comes. You probably feel this too as an artist.
Yeah.
An idea comes and you're like, I need to write this down, and you can just have like maybe like a whole like chorus or a whole hook or whatever. So both, definitely.
I love that.
But I like to write physically. Like, I don't know about you guys, but I like to like write on paper.
It's much
Yeah.
more powerful, I
Yeah.
think, for sure.
It's,
Yeah.
you remember things more. It's like the
You do
memory
remember,
of
yeah.
it. Like you put these words together, and it's like
Absolutely.
it's instilled in your brain.
Yep.
That's fire.
It's amazing, and I like the style that you actually wrote your book. It's not like generic, where it's like word like sentence after sentence. It's more like poetry style.
Yeah.
Like for the people that don't see it, like she even have illustrations. That
Fire.
Shout out to my sister, Yosha.
Yeah, shout out to
Yo.
her sis. So she's
Because
like the
those-
artist type. Like
Yeah.
she's the drawer. Okay,
Yeah,
I love
yeah.
that. The illustrations.
She's super talented.
That's amazing, and it's like it's not boring, right? Because you're constantly reading it and you're seeing a little visual picture to it. You're like, okay.
Yeah. I would say I'm my style is like free verse. Like just I don't have like a specific format or like a specific style. Like it's just
Just free.
whatever.
So I have
yeah.
a question. How has the release of this book liberated you?
Oh my gosh, it's changed my whole life.
Nice.
Like I wrote it and I was like, if I could just publish, like figure out how to self-publish, half the battle is done. I'm going to be so proud of myself. So like the reception I got from people I know, but then also people I don't know. I just got a message from somebody from India telling me that they were on Amazon and they found my book and they love it so much and they're so happy that they read it and it's helped them. And it's like, I don't even know this person and they live in a different continent,
Sick.
right? So
That's amazing.
yeah, so it's changed like everything for me, and it's made me feel more comfortable to share more of my work. Like I'm already working on my second book and I'm trying to like, you know, I don't want to rush it, but I learned so much with the first process.
one,
now
yeah.
I'm like, oh, I could do this so much faster and like half
figure
the
out
time.
all the little corners that you have to take, and now you know the publishing process. And,
Yeah. And I just want to say, for anyone that wants to or is thinking about writing a book, whatever type of book it is, you can do it on your own. Like, you can self-publish so easily.
Really?
It's Amazon KDP is a godsend,
So you don't
honestly.
need a publisher like a
You don't. Like,
don't, right?
and I would say, like, for me, I put this book out on my own, but my intention is to hopefully land a publishing deal for the second book because, like, you know, it's for my career, that would be very helpful. But for your first book, like, you can definitely self-publish on Amazon. It's very easy to follow their format. So
That's amazing. I
anyone
love
can
that.
do
That's
it,
amazing.
honestly.
Sick.
So I want to ask you a question.
Gotta give you one to heroin. I'm sorry, I don't know how to use this, guys. I'm just, I'm
love it.
freestyling with it.
I had a question. I was, what's the turning point in your life that kind of like you started heading on the spiritual journey? Because as you're saying, like there's phases of it, right? Where you're under attack and you really have no idea what's going on. You're just like, you're kind of in a vulnerable state where, you know, you're being a victim of some type of abuse or some type of thing that's damaging you. Then you kind of like you're kind of ignorant in the first two phases, and then you finally are really, you go on your journey and you're able to find your clarity in the third phase. So what was the turning point in your life where you started getting clarity and you were able to really have this like peace inside of you?
I will say that there's no final point in life where I think anyone just always feels that clarity. I think it like, and I don't want to speak for everybody. There obviously are people in the world that will come to that point where they just have peace in their heart, and that's just how they get to live the rest of their lives, and good for them. Like, I commend them. But I would say for me, it's this like cycle of those three stages over and over again. And it's like, in all honesty, as a creative, I love that shit. Like, it might sound crazy, but like I love knowing like, damn, I'm heartbroken right now. Like, I have so much inspiration. Like, I have so much shit to write about now. And I know that could sound really wild, but maybe you also like relate to that. I don't know.
Well, I'm not so much on that sad side.
Yeah.
That's the thing. I'm
He's like, "Can't relate to the
I'm more on the
emos."
like positive, happy.
Right.
Yeah,
You
fair.
know, go to the club, enjoy, have a good night type. Like, you know,
Yeah.
it's more enjoying, right? I'm more happy side.
Yeah,
I know
yeah,
that
yeah.
people. I had a friend once tell me like, it's okay to be sad, right?
Yeah.
And my perspective on it was like, well, why do you want to be, right? But I guess it's something. It's about like getting that. It's almost like releasing that energy, like getting it out of your body, opposed to like staying stuck in it, because it's
Yeah.
like, you know, sometimes you'll feel sad about something, but you'll like kind of like let it slide. So you try to like put something in front of it to distract yourself from being sad. So you try to pretend like you're not actually sad, but then there's others who like I'm gonna just let it out and I'm gonna actually just be sad right now, right?
Yeah, I actually think that what we're saying almost similar things, though. We just
Yeah.
might be like showing it differently, because when
Yeah.
I'm like in my mode where I'm inspired and like something has happened and I'm like, damn, I'm feeling a lot, being able to write about it is like my saving grace, because I'm not just laying there like sad for a year and not doing anything with that energy. Like, I'm like writing, I'm like going to meet up with friends in the studio and we're making tracks about it, and
Sick.
like that's fun, you know what I mean? Like, when I'm sitting there and I'm writing a song with my friend and I'm telling her about some shit I just went through, we're having a really good time doing that, you know? But and everyone's different too, like we like deal with things differently, but like personally, I love to be in my feels sometimes, you know?
Yeah, I think that's like there's two perspectives I have on it. Like, I agree with you, because like you life, you can't escape the highs and the lows.
Yeah.
So, and even that's kind of like what the concept of your book is. Like, you have to be ready for war.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? You have to realize that although, yeah, you want to be happy all the time, more times than not, you're going to deal with a lot of suffering, a lot of like, you know, pain, hard times. So the best way that you're going to be able to go through it is to kind of accept that it's going to happen to you and be ready for it, right?
Yeah.
So I understand there's cycles, and I like how you're like, okay, I want to really feel it and let myself kind of like get really caught into the feelings that like the emotions that are happening at the time, and then use that as an inspiration to my art. But I also get Ja's perspective, where it's like, when those hard times come, let's like fight it with, no, there's no such thing as hard times. You know what I mean? No, it's gonna be good through the hard times. Like, you know, we're happy all the time. Because that's kind of my mentality. I don't like to go down. I like, if I go down, I need to get out of it within like 24 hours.
I feel that, honestly.
You know?
I really feel that.
I feel like both point of views are great, but it's like you have to understand personalities are different, right?
No, but even some of that sadness could drive you into like,
and that's what
getting,
she's saying.
like,
especially as an artist,
fuel
especially
you.
as a creative.
That's what she's saying. When she's channeling like this sad feeling, she gets motivated and she's like, "Oh, I got a lot to write about." Right?
Yeah.
Vice versa, when you're like channeling like, let's say a heartbreak or something, you're like, fuck this, I'm going to the club. Like, I want to go pop shit.
I gotta
go
distract
turn
myself.
up.
I want to see something else.
I want to
not
some
think
new
about
ass,
it right
some
now.
new titties.
Like, you know what I mean? It's just distraction, right?
Yeah, I feel you. And you know what? It all based down to like the personality types, how people perceive it. And I feel like everyone is different in that aspect, right? And you're more of an author, right?
Yeah.
And poetry,
Yeah.
right? So I feel like it's easy for you to just take it to the pen.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? He's like more of a singer, and he's ready to go like, you know, express it in a song or something like that, right?
Yeah, definitely.
Which all of them are beautiful, by the way.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
But yeah, go ahead.
Well, yeah. Well, just I guess I'm on brand, right? Because I'm an R&B singer, right? So it's like I talk about like love, right?
Yeah,
It's like more focused on like relationships, right? Or situationships, or like just any kind of ship. You know what I mean?
Any type of ship.
That's why I think, you know what,
Yeah.
feeling those deep emotions, like she said, sometimes getting your heart broken, sometimes going through a really rough phase, that's going to give you the most organic content to really go into the mic and spit, because it's from the heart, and it's so relatable because how many people around the world are also going through hard times, and you know what I mean? They're like feeling those same emotions. So I definitely agree with you. Like, as a creative, it's really good to like have phases. You know, even really good phases. You know, it doesn't have to always be negative, but like phases where you're partying, you know, you're living a certain lifestyle, then you come back to the mic and it's like pull up in a Bentley truck. You know what I'm saying? Like you have so much to talk about. You know what I mean?
And it's that much better when you know that you have gone through something. Like, you guys know when you've been like in a funk, and then when you pull yourself out of it, you yourself pull yourself out of that funk, whatever you were going through, it feels so much better. For me personally. And I like to practice gratitude, not only in the moments where it's like, yes, like, you know, this great thing happened and I have this and da-da. I like to practice it also in the moments where it's like everything has gone wrong, like, but I'm still so grateful for this moment. And I think that also ties in with my personal relationship with God, because I know like these things are happening to me for my betterment.
Absolutely.
Right? So that's why I say, like, I like to feel, it's not that I'm like this like crazy person that's like, yes, I love to feel pain, but it's just like
it sounds masochist, where it's like you're something, because you're like, oh, I can't wait for my next heartbreak because it's gonna like put me into a certain like mind state. But it kind of also shows some maturity that, like, you know, you're not taking it that serious, you know, as much as like you're gonna let yourself go through it, you know what I mean?
And I know I'm gonna come out the other end so much better, right? A better person and also inspiration. So that's a win for me, you know?
I think, honestly, one of my philosophies in life is, like, you learn more through the darkness than you do through the light, you know? It's like, as you say, sometimes God puts those tough battles in your life, and it's all divine. Everything was meant to happen, and it was actually those hard times was, like, those times that really built you and prepared you for the good times. Yeah. So you have to realize on the whole path, every step along the way was perfect, even the hard times. It was all, like, necessary.
Yep. My biggest moments of, like growth or anything that had like this book, right? This is the greatest thing I've done yet in my life.
I think that's super awesome.
But this was birthed from so much trauma. So many like things that were dark and all like hard times.
All you waste mans that played her. Look.
It ended up
what
all y'all little dirty poetry secrets in this book. Okay?
Oh God.
The world knows about it now. Sorry.
Exposed.
So like, how long have you been a writer?
Honestly, since I was like 4.
Wow.
Yeah, like my mom used to buy me these notebooks and I would run out of paper and I'd be like, I need another one. And she'd be like, I just gave you that one. And I couldn't stop writing. And I don't know what the hell I was writing at that age. Like, I was writing chapter books though when I was a kid.
So obviously,
I don't know
go
what
ahead.
about.
Well, I just wanted to ask, so who's like one published author who's your
favorite?
top?
Your Michael Jordan.
Michael Jordan of poetry.
Rumi.
Well, I would say published books. Like, yeah.
Probably Rumi.
Rumi?
And Rumi is written in so I was gifted 4 books by Rumi for my birthday. And honestly, let me tell you, you guys got to read this because it is not the type of poetry book that you can just like, you know how we were just like going through the pages in my book and like it was just such a fast read. You got to study Rumi. It is so beautiful. Like, I don't know if you guys are as like senti as me, but like it will have you like in tears. It is written so powerfully and in such a way where it's like you got to digest, you got to study it.
Wait, what's senti?
Like sentimental.
Oh.
Did you say sensitive?
What?
Yeah, You ever got a senti feeling?
A little
No.
senti? A little
I
senti?
literally
I
just,
like
you know what I
that.
just learned? You know what I just
You're
learned?
moving senti,
I just
dog.
learned-
Senti.
Bro, you know what I just learned? I just learned POS.
Pause. What is it?
What?
Piece of shit. I just learned that.
Yeah, a piece of shit.
I thought you were gonna be like point of sale.
Yeah, that's what I was
Yeah,
thinking too. I
POS,
was
yeah.
like,
No, I'm talking about like just online. Like you know how they talk online.
You
They be
damn,
shortening
you
things,
damn
they be making
millennials, shorten everything.
They shorten everything, and
They're so
I'm like,
lazy.
what is that? Let's go on Urban Dictionary.
You think a book can be written in like short like abbreviation forms?
Yeah, oh my god. Gen Z, they're
Yeah?
all gonna be writing like that.
Would you ever implement that in your style of writing?
I wouldn't say no, but like it's not something I've ever thought about. But I would never turn any idea down. Like I would love to maybe, who knows.
What is that?
Be like senti, POS.
You mean
It's all those.
I don't know. But like that style of writing.
Yeah.
That'd be different.
like he said BRB, so I
Yeah.
said G to G.
I said meet me at the B&B. That's
Honestly,
crazy.
maybe. Someone actually, I had a couple people messaging me asking if I could ever write from like a man's perspective. And the first time I was like, hey, that's an interesting, maybe I'll do that. And then I had a couple more men message me and ask basically the same thing. And so now I'm like, okay, I'm going to try and challenge myself to write from a male perspective. Because obviously, like, my whole book is written from my perspective. And, I'm not a man, so I don't really. But it's interesting to put myself in,
That's
that
what I'm saying.
perspective.
Do you think you could actually do that? Do you feel like you have enough understanding of males to be like, yo, I can write from
How
your
about
perspective?
this? How about this? Your name is J Poet, and she's a poetry. Let's see who got the best 3-bar poets right now.
She's
How
a
about that?
poetry?
You over here trying to test
Did he say
us?
she's a poetry?
I mean, a poet.
Hold on.
A poet.
Okay,
You know what I'm
bro.
trying to say, bro. I'm not
I
in
don't
that.
know what I heard.
Classic for that.
What?
You know what
No,
I'm saying? Like, let's hear some. Let's hear your top 3 bars of like.
I'm
you
not a
know.
freestyle poet.
You're not a freestyler?
No.
How about you? I know you're a freestyler.
I said
It's putting
it's
you on
a
the spot.
poetry battle.
He's gonna hit us with this.
Poetry battle
A
for
poetry,
real.
What?
yeah. Poetry
So
slam.
speaking of
I don't
this
freestyle because my style ain't free. You know what I'm saying? I'm gonna bring that back. I got a little rhyme for you right there. You know what I'm saying?
Okay, we'll take it. We'll take it.
I love that. I
So
love
look,
that
look,
for you.
look. With this new
Yo, I wanna
generation.
ask- I
Yo,
wanna
what about
ask
this
all
new
you guys,
generation right
though.
now?
Hold on.
Go ahead.
You asked her, what's your favorite author? I
Yeah.
need to know the boys. What's
Ooh.
your favorite author?
Yeah.
I'm not gonna say who you think I'm gonna say.
Who you think we're gonna think that you're gonna say?
Oh, Harry, like Harry Potter.
J.K.
J.K. Rowling, yeah, J.K. That's
Okay.
literally like when you think of like best authors right off the rip, J.K. Rowling comes to mind.
Did you read the Harry Potter series? Though?
I read the first 2 books. Like that was something that I was really interested in. Like as a kid, like those first 2 like movies and the books, they were incredible, right?
It's actually tough for me. I don't even read
That's a
books.
solid
No, but I'm
choice.
gonna say George R.R. Martin. He's the guy who did Game of Thrones.
Sick.
That's my like
Did
I
you
love
actually
Game of
read
Thrones.
that book?
I didn't read the book only because I watched the whole
He watched
show.
the series and
I watched
he
the
loved
show
the
and
writing behind that.
Exactly,
Okay.
no, but the show is based off of the book, right? So that's my cup of tea.
Okay.
All
fair.
right.
So go ahead.
I
Who else?
honestly I don't read books, and like the books that I actually read, like let's say in like middle school, high school, I forgot. I'm gonna be real.
When's the last time you read a book?
The last time, the last time I read a book is actually when you gave me that book. Remember The Power of Now?
Right.
Who was the author of that?
Eckhart
Eckhart Tolle.
Tolle.
Yeah.
That was a
Eckhart Tolle.
perfect. That was a perfect answer.
Is it
Did you
Tolle?
like that book? How
I
did-
actually no, honestly, I love that book. I appreciate you for giving me that book. I actually took the time to actually try to digest every like line for line, and it was more of like just being aware type of book, right? Like every line is like trying to reassure your awareness and trying to like relive the now, like be in the moment.
Be in the moment,
Yeah, and you know what? That was a great book. Obviously, that was like 5-6 years ago, and then clearly like it didn't really like stick with me. But like that idea always lives with me. Like I'm always aware. I'm always trying to be have some clarity of what.
It planted a seed, low key.
It did.
yeah.
It did. But I don't really read books too much.
Would you
Yeah.
reread it?
I would absolutely reread it, especially like if I feel like kind of like in a daze or kind of lost phase in life. I would definitely read that book because it would just like create some reassurance of being alive and being aware and living in the moment. Yeah.
So, how do you feel about those like life? Do you prefer those like life lesson books?
It was great. It's great. You know what? It's great. And, you know, like, everyone has their way of learning, right? Some people are, like, you know, people that learn from books. Some people are visual learners. I think I'm more of a visual and more practical. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Like, I'm more of, like,
Hands-on.
let me see and hands-on.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And some people would rather read a book, and their imagination is so enormous that they can just imagine anything through a book. You know what I'm saying? Like, they can create this whole world but they're sitting down in one place, but just reading about something, but their mind is flowing through a whole universe. You know what I'm saying? I can't do that. I cannot do that.
Yeah.
I gotta see it to believe it.
I love it.
What about you? What's your favorite author?
My favorite author is Paulo Coelho.
I do not know that guy.
Paulo Coelho. He's actually the author of The Alchemist.
Oh,
The
yeah,
Alchemist is
okay.
a very famous
Sick.
book, one of the probably the most sold books in the world. The Alchemist.
Yeah. Alchemist is huge.
Yeah, and that started my journey into reading when I was young. I was always actually a big reader from when I was young, and I started getting it. Like, my uncle really put me onto self-help books from when I was like 12 years old. Like The
Nice.
Alchemist, Who Moved My Cheese, The Present, like a bunch of stuff. So I opened that door for me. So anyways, I've always been reading since I was young. But Paulo Coelho, I've read almost like a lot of his books, more than just The Alchemist.
Nice.
And what's cool is he doesn't send you like a self-help book. He actually will write a story for you. But in the story, there's going to be a lot of lessons. So you kind of come on that journey of the story, and it seems like a very real story, but then there's a lot of like, you know, like hidden gems inside the story. So I really love Paulo Coelho.
That's deep.
Amazing.
That's
And
deep.
y'all should definitely read it, because it's short books and they're super dope. Paulo
Yeah.
Coelho.
One thing I feel about books is that it's so important because like books will never like books always have they always have information. You know what I mean? It's like, you know how like CDs stop having CDs and stop like all that stuff. Like books, I feel like will live forever.
Yeah.
You know what I
Yeah.
mean?
And it's crazy because in history, like books, if they didn't like pass on, like, you know, history wouldn't have been written and education couldn't have been passed on. It's like, we don't realize it, but books is education, knowledge, man,
Power.
power,
Yeah.
power.
I wanted to ask you, you think, like, I know, like, the trend is, like, people don't really read as much. They go online and read blogs, or they're just scrolling through Instagram or Twitter. And do you think, like, books might just be extinct?
Never.
Never?
Never.
Never.
They'll never die.
They'll
Never.
never
They'll
die?
never,
Never.
die.
And if they do, we're doomed as humanity.
You think
So I
so?
pray God that they don't. I mean, I listen to a lot of audiobooks now, whereas in my youth,
That's what I'm saying, you listen to
I
audiobooks.
read, but now I do listen to a lot of audiobooks. But honestly,
Yeah.
I don't actually understand a book if I don't read it. It's totally different if I listen to it. Like, I'll get some of the points, but it kind of doesn't register. But when I really take the time to read it,
Yeah.
then it kind of processes a book different. So you need to read, to be honest with you.
100%.
We all need to read, and we can't let that die out. Technology's scary, man. You see?
That's what I'm saying. Technology
Yeah.
is so scary that, like, like, all the bookstores, the libraries are closing down.
Yo,
all these
Chat
things.
GBT.
Yeah.
Chat GBT will write a whole book for you. You don't
Yeah.
even have to write
Exactly.
nothing anymore. You say,
Yo,
yo,
but what
Chat
happens-
GBT, write a
What
book
happens
about
when they just
self-love.
unplug the internet? Then what?
Then everyone doesn't know how to do jack squat.
We have to go back to the books.
So you can't burn the books. You ever heard of they used to
Yeah.
say burn the books? They
Yeah.
used to burn the books.
Yeah.
Fam, that's how they used to mess with you the worst way. If they wanted to destroy your civilization, they'll burn all your books.
That's mad.
Because
that's so mad.
that's the key to your power.
That's the power, yeah.
That's crazy.
That's mad. That's actually crazy. to
The
think about.
knowledge will make you, if you're ignorant, it's easy to control you.
Yeah, yeah. Facts.
So bills, man, we can't get rid of the books, big dog.
I know,
man.
but I see the trend. Like, yeah, all the bookstores are closed. Just like how once we used to have Blockbuster, where we used to go rent a movie. People don't do that. People go on Netflix now.
Fam, look at Starbucks. How many people in Starbucks are reading a book?
Fam, yeah, they got these little tablets. They're reading books. I'm talking book. A book is something that's
Physical
like
paper.
physical
Yeah,
paper. That's what
definitely.
I'm saying. I'm not talking about like people that are at Starbucks that are reading their tablets, not on their laptop. Like that's there to stay.
In a way, I think that the value of books is going to go up, though, for that reason, right? Because there will be fewer books, which means that, You know what I mean?
They're
No, because
limited edition.
no,
Like,
because
it's
it's
hard to
like,
get it, like,
bro,
you know what I mean? It's
bro.
hard to-
No, I don't think so. The value
Huh?
will go away because it's like
Not go
if
away,
I
go up.
if I can turn on my tablet, right, and have 100 books in this one thin iPad, right?
Mhm.
Aside from having 100 physical copies, what makes sense to me? What's convenient?
What happened when you crack your screen?
Bro, okay, now you're talking about like I like.
It's totally different.
I'm defending the book. I'm
It's
defending
totally
the book.
different, though.
You can't crack the book.
Like reading a book on a screen compared to reading a physical book,
Yeah, it's
I
just
think
a
it's a
different
lot
feeling.
Very
different.
different
feeling.
It is.
experience.
I know.
It's
It's
I
different.
want to go to the beach, open up
Yeah.
my book, relax there. You know what I'm saying? There's certain times where you actually really want a physical book. You know what I'm saying?
Even
Yeah.
for these, like, I was debating on only doing digital because I'm like, damn, I think people would prefer that. Like, I don't know how many people actually read physical copies anymore. And I did a poll, and 98% of people were like, we want paperback. We don't
You were
want
surprised,
digital."
though?
I was so shocked. I was like, okay, well, I guess we'll do that. But yeah, I think like it's an experience. And when you love a book, you want to hold that in your hands.
Facts. You
You
want it
know?
part of your collection.
Yeah, and even if like we're living in a world where everything is turning into digital, there will always be the outliers. There will
Right.
always be the people that value the traditional, the
I agree.
paperbacks, right? Like I mean, I hope in our lifetime it won't die because
Yeah, no, for sure.
You know what? I want to switch it up in the sense and still stick to that because it's like our generation, a lot of things are changing fast, right? With technology, with social media, with AI now, chat GBT. So it's like, do you think this technology in this world is a good thing or a bad thing? And obviously it's like kind of a double-edged sword where it has its good things and it has bad things. But like thinking about humanity's future, do you think in the long run it's going to be better or worse with this technology as it keeps advancing?
It's gonna be insane. Because
Insane can be good or bad. Is it
no,
bad
but
or
like
worse?
insane in a way like it's gonna be hard to differentiate the real from the fake, right?
already
What's really
happening.
real, what's really fake. Like you seen the Pope
Yeah.
thing? Everyone's bugging over the Pope. I thought the Pope was dripped out like that. I thought he was,
Right,
right?
right. I thought it
Wearing
was
the
a real
jacket,
photo.
the
Yeah,
Buffalo
all of that,
jacket,
like
yeah,
that was
yeah.
insane, right? And
We're going to put the photo here.
yeah, you never know, like
Yeah, and you know what? People say we're in a simulation because that's the thing is that it's going to...
I don't believe that shit. We're in a simulation, bro.
It's-
Because if we were really in a simulation, bro, like let's be real. Like you do a crime, you know the consequences. That's not a simulation. That's like you're not getting a respawn button. Like you can't just click it and
You're right.
go reset and I was in this. No, we're in real life, bro. There's no such thing as we're in a simulation. This is not the Matrix.
Okay, facts. That's probably the correct answer,
Well-
but go ahead.
well, I want to say this, right? Because the whole AI thing, right? It's new to the public.
It
right?
is.
Which means that it's been like
Around for
it's
the
been around
government for
while.
100 years.
For a
probably.
long time.
Don't
A lot of the things that we've seen on TV, how much of it is AI? How much do you know is
That's
real or
actually
fake?
so true.
Right? Because
Yeah.
we're new to it, but it's
Yeah.
been around for a while.
It's like the
And
Truman Show. You guys ever watched the movie The
Yeah.
Truman Show?
Yeah.
I haven't seen
that's
that
the
one.
The Jim Carrey one.
Jim
Yeah.
Carrey. So basically, he's on a TV show. And his whole life he's been on a TV show from when he was a baby. So everyone around him is a part of a set, but he's the only one who doesn't click in. And then as he gets older, he realizes like, yo, my whole reality was fake. And how trippy was it for him to think that all of his friends, his wife, his kids, everything was all set up.
To watch him.
And he's on a TV show and the whole world's watching him. But if he was able to get bamboozled his whole life to think that that was his reality. So how many of us, like you said, might be bamboozled right now?
Simulation.
But and okay, this is what I'm gonna say about the simulation. Is they say technology is going so crazy that like you can be in a VR and the quality looks like you see some of these pictures of maybe like a cheetah, these cameras, like they're able to capture 8K, it keeps getting more, the resolution. When the resolution gets so perfect that it almost looks exactly 100% replica of the human, like they perfect it, how do we not know that the whole fucking thing isn't just a simulation if they're able to get to that level? So that was like the philosophy behind like the simulation.
I mean, it's an argument for sure,
we would never know.
but we would never.
We would never know.
We would never know
But
the truth.
maybe if you got enlightened, like the Buddha, right, or one of the masters, and then the secrets are revealed to you. What do you believe in that?
I mean, yeah, that's possible. I think, like, personally, there's way too many possibilities of what this life could be. I like to go into my own world within and just make my own sanctuary. Because I will lose my mind. The greatest philosophers have died because they lost their minds trying to figure life out. Personally, I just want peace of mind, and I would rather live in here, in this world that I've created, and be happy with that. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Who's your favorite philosopher?
Oh, I don't have a favorite philosopher.
No?
I hated
Who's
philosophy
yours?
class.
Socrates. Actually, Astaghfirullah. Muhammad. Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam.
Got him.
Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi
Got
wasallam.
him.
No, that's for sure. That's for sure.
No, but like in terms of like what we learned in school,
Yeah,
like
yeah.
Socrates, I think was my favorite, just because of his ideologies were like really like real life shit, like like he really like talked about how like every action has a reaction. Like I believe in that that idea of like if you commit one action, it turns out to be another action, a reaction. You know what I mean? So it's just like it made sense. But yeah, no, technology honestly is scary because we're advancing at a fast speed, man. It's like, who knows what technology could do to us? Like, like you say, ChatGPT, right? It could replace artists. It could write you a whole song.
Yeah.
It could write a whole poem.
Yeah.
It could like edit a whole podcast or do a podcast. So
And now the kids are using it to do their assignments.
Yeah.
So it's like we used to say, oh, you're using a calculator, not doing real math.
Yeah.
Imagine now the computer's doing your whole assignment. You don't have to do nothing.
Yeah.
So how you learning? So I feel like in that aspect, it's a little bit scary because you're gonna rely too much on technology. And then, like he said, what if the internet goes out? Who
I
you
don't
gonna
think
rely
the
on?
internet will ever go out, man. Internet is the greatest invention that we ever had.
It
Bro.
won't go out, but someone could pull it out.
Who could pull out? Who has the capacity to pull
Bro,
out the internet from the
Think
world?
about when you think about just this morning. You're like, oh, bro, I can't go on my Instagram.
Okay, that
What'd you
was
say to
just-
me this morning?
that was
Bro,
one
my
person.
Instagram's
Look
not
at
working.
Andrew Tate.
He
Look
said,
at
bro.
Andrew Tate. Look
He said,
at,
bro,
like,
what
yo,
should I
you can
do?
get blacklisted off the internet. You can get
Bro,
ostracized.
that's just one person being affected.
No,
Like,
but
I'm
think
talking
about it,
nobody
right?
can pull the internet, but the internet, like you have to understand, the government, everything, the airports.
So what if there's a war?
The
What if there's a war?
hospitals,
What if
the
there's a war?
The military depend on the internet. Everyone.
No,
the
hospitals
military
don't rely
the
on
data-
internet. They rely just in energy.
No, bro, they rely on
internet?
the internet database. Like that's like to send out information.
For sure.
Everything is internet.
A lot of
is-
treatments are stemmed from the advancement of technology.
Yeah,
too, right?
like
So
we cannot pull that out. Like there's
you
no way.
pull
bro.
that, and certain treatments are completely taken away.
You know what I'm saying?
People will
Okay,
die.
I'm thinking more like internet,
You're talking about like social media.
social media. Yeah,
You're talking about
'Cause
like
that shit-
Twitter and like Snapchat.
the whole thing, all of them, right? Because they're all intertwined, right?
Yeah, that's
And so it's
possible.
like they always have those bugs, those bites, those things that you gotta fix, right?
Nah.
And so they're constantly rebooting themselves because there's new servers. I mean, new users, right? Which is like growing.
I got
the
a good
platform.
question for you.
Yeah.
What apps can you live without? I mean, that you cannot live without.
Can't live without.
Name 2 apps on your phone right now that you cannot live without.
Google. I cannot live without my Google app.
Really, eh?
That-
That's where I find
All your information.
everything. Like I find basically like recipes, how to make certain meals. Every type of medical question I have, I find on
you
there.
go through the rabbit hole.
Yeah,
there.
Google is everything for me, honestly.
Google.
Anything that comes in my brain that I'm trying to figure out, straight to Google. I could not live without Google.
Yeah. What about you? What app can you not live with?
I use the YouTube app a lot. Just
YouTube.
kind of like the same for the same reason.
Yeah.
I'm searching stuff, but I want to see the visual version of it.
Yeah.
Like whatever I'm asking, and sometimes I don't find it, so then I end up going back to Google.
What about you, Poet?
I'm actually gonna say same. YouTube is definitely one of my top 2, and then my number 1 is Apple Music. I be listening to music just so many hours of the day, so it's
really,
like I
eh?
need my music app. Like
Yeah.
come on, I had
I'm a
my
Spotify person.
You're
Same.
Spotify.
Same.
Nah,
Spotify.
I'm straight Apple.
Yeah.
Apple gang, come on.
I'm conflicted though because the looks like the look on Apple. It's got like the integrated like colors and all that stuff. I love
Yeah,
that.
you know what I mean? I use my iPhone. I need to use the Apple, everything Apple. You feel me?
So
It
you
just
guys,
works
are
together
trying to tell
better.
me like you cannot live without Instagram? I mean, you can live without Instagram.
Instagram is like one of my major points of contact. Like it's almost like more than my text messages,
Yeah.
So I definitely need it as well. But I think like if I really like YouTube, like you said, like you can Anything you want to figure out, boom, you figure it out on YouTube. Music too is like I can go days without Instagram, but can I go days without listening to music? Probably not.
Here's a strange one though. Like, you know, people who only contact you through Instagram when they have your number, that's annoying. It's like,
just call.
They're just stringing a whole.
Instagram is very important though, because like for you guys have this podcast now, right? Yeah. You're an artist. Yeah. I'm a writer. We need that platform to promote, right?
Yeah,
that's like our main business platform.
That's the one that works back for us.
Crazy,
you know what I mean? That actually gives back to us.
And while it's still free, I need Instagram.
That's what I'm saying. We all need Instagram, I think.
Bill, what about you? What's your favorite too?
Honestly, like, I think it would be 50-50 between YouTube and Instagram. You know? Because it's like Instagram, like I can learn as much information on that too, right? Because it's like, you know, you're just constantly seeing. You could be on a health page, like a health and fitness page, and I can learn workouts.
Yeah.
Definitely learn a lot.
I do that a lot. I search up workouts through Instagram.
Yeah.
How do you feel about like the description description part of that? You seen that now? They got the description, like you subscribe to someone that you already follow.
Yeah.
Well, subscriptions,
I don't know, man.
I be getting notifications like, oh, now you can subscribe to who I'm already following.
Right, and it's like an OnlyFans where you can pay them like a monthly subscription fee.
Yes. How do you feel about that?
I mean, yeah, like people are doing OnlyFans, so instead of having to go on different apps, you kind of get like an exclusive for certain people. It's like, I think it's sick, especially for us as artists, creators. We can monetize off that. Our real like super fans, they'll pay those subscriptions.
Facts.
You know
the only
I mean?
thing I think it could be a liability though, because if you base your whole business on Instagram subscriptions, they can easily just take your page down. So many people have experienced that in the past year, or you get hacked or whatever, and it's like it's not secure enough. I don't think.
That's true, and it's very hard to get in
I
contact
thought I got
with
hacked this morning, yo. I ain't gonna lie.
You gotta know somebody from Instagram, you know what I mean? Like, in order to actually get proper support.
Yeah.
So.
No.
Yo, I got a serious question though. Do you guys think Instagram has ruined relationships?
100%.
Hey, yo, remember when they had the activity page?
Oh,
that's when it was messing people up.
That was messy.
Whoa.
That was so messy. Oh,
you
my
see,
God.
like, they like 5 photos, you're going crazy. What?
Messy.
That was messy.
That one was dangerous.
Yo, we cleared
like, why'd they do that to us?
Remember, you have to be careful what you liked because they would see it. Like, like
you can see everything.
They would choose who gets to see it.
But you know what?
You don't get to choose.
Were you a type? I want to ask you. Were you guys the type of person who looked at that and you guys were checking like, yo, did my girl like any guys' photos? Were you on that?
The thing is,
you
couldn't control that though. You couldn't control what you saw, right? So it was like
I didn't want to see. I'm like a guy. I don't want to know.
But strange enough, it was more of like I think the intention of it was more to see what like other people are interested
trending,
in, right? Right, what their interests are.
And then man like Bills is liking like 15 girls' photos and looking like a dog, and he's
why'd you like that girl's photo? Remember that one?
I'm not gonna lie, that would make me so angry. I used to get so annoyed by that activity tab, like, and like you, I'd be like, I'm not gonna look at it today because I don't want to ruin my day. Like, I'm happy today. I just want to keep my good mood. I don't want to ruin my day today. So, because times I would be on that, and I would see something I didn't want to see. It would annoy me.
See the guy that you want to talk to, like 15 booty pics, and you're like, I can't talk to this guy.
I wonder, like, why is that a bad thing, though? Like, why is it a bad thing? Like, I feel like, why is it that, okay, you like someone else's photo, and then it's such a turn-off, it's such like a, it hurt me.
But it's not...
I feel it as well. We're jealous human beings, but I feel like, is that right? Is someone allowed to like photos?
I think, like, the type of photo matters, right? If it's a girl that's, like, half naked, and my man is liking that picture, it's gonna bother me, because I know that it would bother him if the roles are reversed. And for me, that's where it is. Like, if you're liking a picture like that bothers me. And like you don't lose out on anything, you don't miss out on anything from not liking that. Your life does not change to not like it. So if it's so important,
but what if you wanted to just show support and love to somebody? Like, it's same
That's
way.
the whole point of Instagram. You want to like someone's photo, especially if you're
same
following
way it
them.
didn't hurt you. If you did like it or not, it really didn't hurt you in any way, shape, or form.
It bothers me though. Like if it were like a half naked girl and it's like my man liked this, it's embarrassing and it bothers me. So personally, like, I think you just have to be with a person who agrees with with your point of view.
Of course.
Because I don't want to be fighting about Instagram likes. Like
Exactly.
there's bigger things, there's bigger fish
And
to
it-
fry. I don't
and
need to
Instagram.
waste my
Some
time.
people say Instagram is not really real life because it's just like a facade. Everyone is posting their best moments. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
No one's posting when they wake up and their hair is mash up or like you know what I'm saying. You're only posting your best moments.
Yeah,
so it's
absolutely.
like people are living in this facade world. Like,
But it's so much of our lives.
it is.
You
It's
know?
We're
consuming.
addicted. We're addicted to it.
Yeah.
And I think
We
we're
are.
addicted to the attention. I'm sorry to say, but I
Definitely.
think
Yeah.
our generation, like all those likes, all the attention, and that's why I even had that question, like, how do
They
you
do
think it
anything
has,
for clout?
how does it have an effect in the relationship world? You know what I mean? Because you getting attention from so many different places,
Yep.
you know, it kind of messes with your head.
It
Just
does.
to turn it back a little bit, how would you guys feel if your girl liked a picture of a man with like these tight little briefs on and like he's looking ripped and it like your girl liked it?
I'll give you an example. What if it was Cristiano Ronaldo?
No, I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about like a guy that you guys both know.
It's messy.
That's
If someone I know,
hold on,
it's a
that's-
little messy.
And is
That's
it
not
a
even
little
my
bit
girl
embarrassing
at
for
this point.
all your friends to see that your girl liked that picture?
Okay, if it was my friend,
Yeah.
I wouldn't mind it. Want to know why? Because there's a
Whoa,
certain
it'd be-
level. There's a certain
That would
level.
be even worse.
That would be even
No.
worse, fam.
There's a certain level of maturity where it's like, okay, you're supporting my friend. Like I have
Yeah.
a trust level of you. Like, okay, my boy's showing out. You're his friend too. Like, support his ass. I'll tell you.
Support his business. Contribute to his business. Why do you gotta like a picture of him half naked?
Oh, him half naked.
Like, actually support him. If you want to talk about support, then really support him.
But what if he's a fitness guy, and he's showing out that
Then
he-
repost
That's
it.
tricky.
Be like, hit this guy up for personal training.
And would that make you think
Nah.
No, I'd be like,
Listen.
hey, you're actually supporting the business. A like is not supporting.
No, but there's two
helps the algorithm.
there's two listen, there's two elements to that, right? That
Yeah.
you have to really factor in. It's the picture that he posted, and then there's the caption. If the caption is insinuating that, yo, I fuck bitches, or I do this, that, and then my girl likes that, then I'm like, nah, you're not my girl, because clearly you're falling into this nigga thirst trap, okay? But if it's one of those ones, hey, support my business, then I'm like, all right, you know what I'm saying? I might just be like, whatever, you know what I'm saying?
Business related is like a different thing for sure.
But it's the caption, too. The caption is like another... Hey, yo, what do you say? You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? The implications from the caption could be deadly too. You know?
Ja, what do you think, man? You think like what? Like I don't know, man. What do you think?
So
about
I
that?
think here, for example, right? Let's say this is the homie's girl, right? And maybe she takes the photo. Maybe it's her photo that she took, right? And she liked it. It's just cool because she might be around. Maybe she takes maybe it's a slide of photos, right? And one of the photos is the homie in there, right?
With boxers on or some shit?
No,
What the fuck you-
bro, boxers? No, there's no boxers, bro. If she's like in the photo with the boxers, it's done. There's no boxers, fam. Why you keep saying that?
But that's
No,
what
that's
she
a write-off.
said.
She
That's
said no
exactly what
boxers.
I'm like.
She said if it was like
Specifically
it
that.
was
No,
like a
if it's a
sex
thirst
appeal
trap,
type
it's a
photo,
no-no.
yeah.
That's what I'm
But if it's
saying.
like the homie, you can see like it's a homie vibe. Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Whatever, everyone's out, whatever, it's chill. Like,
That's
it's not even
different.
that
Yeah, that's what I'm
crazy,
saying.
right?
But if it's a
Because-
celebrity, it's cool.
Honestly, even then, it's like certain type of like a celebrity that's naked too. It's still a woman that's naked. Personally, I'm like the kind of person that has very strict boundaries in relationships. So if you're my man, I don't even need to have like your friends' numbers and stuff. Like I don't need to be friends with your friends. Like I like to have boundaries like that. And I don't need my man to be friends with my friends. And that's just how I like to, navigate my relationships because I feel like things can get messy and it's just like...
I think that our young age that could work, but I think as you start to get older, you know what I mean? You kind of start to integrate your friends and your
Your
partners.
relationship.
You know what I mean? And you have to you start creating a smaller community as opposed to
Yeah.
isolating yourself. But some people do like to isolate themselves, say, hey, it's me and my man, fuck the world, or we don't want to contact anybody.
So situation like let's say you just got in a relationship with a girl and you guys are like really like kicking off, everything is going well, like sexual tension is heavy, but now you bring around your friends. Would you want your girl to just give those guys a hug or just one of these?
You can give him a hug, 100%.
A hug?
Yeah.
I have a lot of I used to be so jealous.
Because
Like,
some people are like, yo, you can't hug my girl because it's like,
yeah, and I think that's too possessive.
Yeah.
It's
Too
way
possessive,
too
bro.
possessive. Like, don't. I've been that guy to realize it's such an ugly trait. Don't look at him. don't hug him. Why were you talking to him for so long? That's so many relationships like fighting over this petty ass shit. Do you love me or not? That's what I want to know. If you really love me,
Oh God.
have your freedom.
Yeah.
You one day you step that line and I find out you lost it. You know what I'm saying? You gotta give trust. What do they say? You have to like give full trust off the rip until someone gives you a reason not to trust them.
Yeah.
You understand?
Good point.
For sure.
And you also have to have friends that you trust. Like my best friends, I trust them with anything, right? So I'm not gonna be like watching and like you can hug. I don't care. It's whatever because I trust them. They're my people, and like I don't have to ever question their character. You know,
your best friends can come up and hug your man like.
Yo,
And all that.
I
'Cause
can't
they know
say
how
the
to move.
same.
They know
My
how to move.
brethrens, I can't say the same about my brethren.
But you see how you just gave a good explanation, but now you're saying my brethren, so that means you don't even trust your
They're
brethren.
wolves. My brethren,
You know what
no, I
I'm
trust
saying?
my girl. I trust my girl.
Oh
My
my
brethren
God.
are wolves.
I mean,
I
that's what
gotta
it comes
trust
down
my
to.
girl.
That's
You know
wild.
what I'm saying?
It comes down to the
wild.
foundation of your relationship. That's what it comes down to at the end of the day, right?
Yeah.
That's the, like where you are, because that all that stems from like insecurity, like
Yeah.
you not feeling secure within yourself will make you feel like you need to be that way.
Absolutely. And
You know what I
I
mean?
also like to see how a man moves. Like I don't ever want to be like you can't do it and like so controlling. Like I'm gonna tell you what I like, and I'm gonna sit back and let you act however you want to act, and then I can decide if I want to have you in my life or not. You know. But the controlling energy,
No, I agree. There shouldn't be no controlling energy at all because that's just like that's some kiddie shit. Like,
and it's
to be honest.
exhausting.
It's exhausting.
Yeah.
But like, if Ja right now was to bring his girl around, you know what I mean? After first encounter, as a man who have morals and respect, I'm not going in for the hug. I'm giving her a daps.
Yeah,
Until
on
I
the
break
first
that
meet,
barrier,
Yeah.
we chill a few
And then she
times.
becomes like your sister.
Yeah,
and
you know
it's
what I'm
like,
saying?
yeah.
Then I'll start giving her hugs. But like,
Yeah.
you know what I'm talking about? The guys like, yo, I just met your girl. Come here, girl. Like, give you
Yeah.
like, no, whoa.
Oh,
Like,
no.
I'll be like, even me, I'll be like, why'd you hug that? Like, why'd you do that? Like, you know, in person, I'll be like,
Yeah.
and that's not even coming from a control, like feel or like, no, it's just like, you know what I mean?
It's like
Just-
that
Yeah,
Drake
that's-
line. It's
yeah.
like that Drake line. What did Drake say? He said, "I could tell by that type of hug."
Yeah, in the club,
Yeah.
the way you hug that guy in the club because you fucked him before in the past. and then-
Right. You could tell like
It gets
certain
sticky.
hugs.
You know what I'm saying?
Do you trust all your friends around a girl?
Like my girlfriend or
Yeah.
something? I mean, like, to a certain extent, for sure. To a certain extent. Like, to a certain extent, for sure.
Cause this is the problem. Men sometimes we get mixed signals, right? So sometimes a man can think a girl's acting super friendly with her, with him, and then he'll try to make a move. But it's only because maybe he's thinking that the girl wants him, but he's
Yeah.
just like he's just
Yeah.
confused. So that's why you know that's why
He's just
if one of my brethren is like
He's
you know,
dizzy.
my brethren slipped up because he's trying to holler at my girl, but my girl told him like corrected him quick like yo you know like I'm not gonna take it so personal, you know what I'm saying?
Your friend.
Like,
You're talking
Yeah.
about your
but
friend.
the thing is, you have to understand, if this is wifey, like, you know, I've been with her for a long time. None of my friends will ever do anything like that. But when it's like first into the dating phase, people are gonna try their luck.
That's wild.
People are gonna try their luck.
It's less
Crazy.
trying. Okay,
Crazy.
And I
I guess
accept
it's-
that. I'm ready for war. Like you said, I'm ready for
He's
war.
ready for war.
no, but okay, but I think the reason for that, right, is more like guy code, right? Guys know that like the girl's gonna choose up, regardless.
Exactly. That's
regardless.
guy code. You need to
right?
learn that.
She might get introduced to the crew and see something that she like a little bit more, and then what? You gonna be mad at that?
No.
Because I mean,
You're gonna be
obviously
mad at
it's-
your
it's
homie
a
for a
bitter
girl
feeling. It's a
choosing
bitter
up?
feeling. It's a bitter feeling.
Of course.
Right? But then after you don't, you literally don't control that person, right?
Yeah.
So it's like you just have to shrug it off.
But you know what I'm saying? Like, if, like, you know, like, in terms of, like, a girl choosing up to a guy is easier, right?
Yeah.
But I feel like there's a double standard that towards, like, the females. Like, if a group of girls and then that one girl brings her man and then that man is dating that girl, but then now he wants to choose up to another
Yeah, we don't move
friend.
like that.
You guys
Yo,
don't want
are
that
you
shit.
sure?
You guys don't
Are
have
you
that
I'm
girl
saying
code.
me and my friends don't
Women
move
don't
like that.
move like that?
Me and
They
my
don't
friends
have-
don't move like that, but maybe I think definitely other people move like that. I've seen other people
You've
move like that.
I'm sorry, but I noticed a trend that when one man hooks up with one girl out of a circle, typically, unless they stay really serious, by the end of it, he's been with two other friend. 100%. I seen it swap in Toronto.
That's
maybe
crazy.
I don't know how it is around there. You tell me. But I do notice that, like, once a man enters a certain friend group of girls, if it doesn't work out with one,
It's going for the friend.
Ooh, mm-mm.
Nah?
Not over here.
You know how sticky it gets.
You know how sticky it gets. I don't know.
There's a lot. So they're saying that this is the Toronto. What's that? The Toronto Open. What they call it? What they say? The
Open
Toronto
Relations?
Open. What is it? What do they call it? They said it on one of the Six Buzz accounts. What do they say it?
I don't follow
No.
Six
I don't follow
Buzz.
Six
Open range. It's open range. I don't know what's the
Open season?
Explain it.
I'm forgetting the actual term, but it's like some like Toronto Open relationship culture or something. Someone said that.
Yeah.
You didn't see that posted? Nobody see that? I'm
No,
on
we
Twitter
didn't
too
see
much.
it. We
I'm
didn't
on
see
Twitter
it.
too
We
much.
didn't see it.
I'm on Twitter. I'm
No,
seeing down this
explain it to
timeline
us.
stuff.
What was
Clearly
it say?
you can't
What was
live
it trying to
without
say?
Twitter
What was it
either.
trying to say?
So it's just that culture, right? That like you were saying, like the friends, right? Because everyone's trying to find their match. That's what it is, right? Everyone's trying to find their match, right?
It's
so they
very
end up
true.
in situations that are like sticky like that one, right? But at the end of the day, I'm sure that the intention is there, that it's more positive than malicious, right?
Yeah.
And so the whole thing is like, back then, right, when we used to date for we're trying to figure out how long we should date before we fuck.
Yeah.
Now it's like, how long should we fuck before we start dating, right?
Yeah.
So it's like
Yeah,
it's
I
the
like that
whole
word.
like so it's that twister, right? So
Yeah.
but it's all in the hopes that you find your partner, right? You
Yeah.
find your person,
Yeah.
right? It's interesting.
You think it's a good thing or a bad thing? You think the older way was better or the new way is better?
I think that there's no wrong or right way. I think chemistry matters, right? Because it's all based off of energy, right? The frequency that you have with someone, the energy that's transferred between the two people, is so important that it shouldn't matter how long, or how long it should take or anything. It should just be like let it flow
Natural.
naturally. You know what I mean? Because then it's real, it's genuine, right? Because you want it to be authentic.
Yeah.
You don't want it to feel like
That's
that.
a good point.
You don't want it to feel like AI. It's gotta be real.
We were watching this TikTok yesterday, or this
Yeah.
reel, and it was basically from another podcast, and they were saying that men, exactly what you were saying, is that men will wait for a long time, right, to kind of get what they want. And he was basically saying that girls put guys into the friend zone, but 9 times out of 10, when a guy's in the friend zone, he still has an idea in his head that if I waited out long enough, one day she's gonna know that I'm here for her, and like maybe I could have a chance with her. Like, a lot of men, they're playing that card. They're a friend, but they have like they're wishing that it turns into something more,
Yeah.
right? So
Yeah.
they'll wait for that opportunity. And the guy was kind of saying something cool though after, was that kind of as soon as the girl gives it up to the man in the end, after that whole long waiting period, then it kind of flips on its head. And it's no longer the male chasing the girl and waiting. Now it's the girl, like, I gave it up to you, like, kind of claim me now and,
Yeah.
like, stay with me now.
Power dynamic shifts.
The
Yeah.
power dynamic shifts.
Yeah.
And that was a strong point, because that really is kind of what happens.
And that guy was never your friend, by the way. The
Uh,
whole time he's just thinking about maybe what. No, that's not your real friend.
Yeah, exactly.
What-
You know?
Exactly.
You're right, you're right.
exactly.
Can
So-
you guys sense when one of your girlfriends has a friend like that? Like, are you guys, when you sense it, like, are you right every time?
So,
not always.
Sometimes you're off. You've been off.
I
think
kind of...
women are more. They know how to hide it more than guys know how. Like if guys have that kind of situation, it's probably like it's just telling in his energy. But like women, they just like they know how to hide it. They're like just go like you know what I mean. I don't know how to explain.
It's
it, but
true. It's
Yeah.
harder to tell if a girl's into you. Guys are so obvious if they're into you, but girls will be like, "Yeah, I was so into you. How did you not notice?" And I'm like, "What?"
Yeah.
I'm like, "You were not giving no signals that you're."
Yeah.
No, I like
Yeah.
looked at you for 2 seconds and
I made eye contact with you.
And I'm like,
I looked
bro,
Talking
away.
about.
I was breathing in your direction.
I acknowledge your existence. What do you mean?
like,
Yeah.
oh, really? Okay.
That's actually crazy. That's crazy.
Yeah, it's interesting, right?
How do you guys feel when a girl approaches you guys or like slides into your DMs?
I love that shit.
Talks to you first.
I love that shit. Please slide in my DM. Show me some like that. You're ready to take the lead. Like you're ready to put me on game. Like you're ready to like you know what I'm saying. Sauce it up
Big
with me.
bills.
Like get in my DM, girl. Show me like I love a girl when she like pushes up. Like
Yeah.
it just shows like yo she's actually like.
Yeah.
Like, about it. Like, she knows what she wants.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? She's not beating around the bushes.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? She's
But it doesn't make you feel like how many other dudes she's like DMing?
That's what
and
I've
shit?
doesn't
heard
matter,
before.
Because
it's
girls,
like-
like girls, obviously they love it when a guy DMs them, but they're in their mind, oh, how many other girls you DMing, right?
Yeah, but like I'm not thinking how many other guys she's DMing, because at the end of the day, I'm already turned on the fact that she's up in my DMs talking about
Okay,
hello,
okay.
or she's giving me those eyes and shit. I'm like, all right, let's go. Like, you clearly know what you want. You want to talk to me.
Okay.
Yo,
Let's go.
It
Yeah,
feels
yeah.
nice to be needed. It feels
Yeah,
nice
yeah.
to
It
be
does.
wanted. You know what
Yeah.
I'm saying? So as a
Everyone-
man, we love that. You know what I mean? For instead of us having to always take lead, it's like I as a man, I need to feel like you want it just as bad as me, if not more. I like that turns me on, you know? So when I see you're chasing me, I'm like, oh, okay, she's really into me.
Especially,
I like that.
Especially like in public, like, you know, when a girl hits me with like when she's like, let's say I'm in a spot, like, you know what I'm saying, like a bar, a lounge, or whatever, and a girl hits me with the unspoken riz. That shit right there, boy. Like, you know what I'm saying?
But it
You ever got hit with the unspoken riz?
What's the
give
unspoken
it-
riz?
give
You
it-
guys know
explain
the
it.
unspoken riz, right?
What, like
Okay,
the eye?
like the eyes from, like, you know, like, or she gives you one of those, like she flips the hair and like she looks at you and then she looks down and then she smiles. She checks up your whole drip and then she smiles. Like, you know what I'm doing?
I'm not gonna lie, you guys joke about like, oh, women flirt by just looking at you. That works though.
That works though,
Yeah,
right?
if you're confident, if you're feeling yourself, and you can actually like bring that energy to a man
course.
by just looking at him for like 5 seconds.
You know what I'm saying?
And they are beelining to you.
You know what I'm
you know?
saying?
So like it works.
So okay,
Body language.
So
Yeah.
what's some unspoken risk that you have got hit with that it like immediately turned you on, or that you would put on a guy? Like, what like, give us an example.
that I would use for a man.
Yeah, for a man, yeah.
Honestly, it's that like
look him
it's like-
him up and down.
I just make sure that like you're looking at me for 5 seconds. If I can hold that, and I guarantee they're gonna
Throw a
feel
little
that
smirk.
confidence,
Yeah.
and they're gonna come over. You
See
know,
what I'm saying?
they blush
I
a
love
little
that.
bit. They look down, and you're
Yeah,
like,
they look
I'm
down. they
shy.
look
I'm
up.
hella shy. I ain't gonna lie. I need a big signal. I need you to smile, like, or else I'm like, no. Like I said, I really need to.
No, but there's
see
a
that
way
you
to
want
do it. It's not like you're just looking at them like this.
Yeah.
Like, you know what I mean? Like, you're like looking at them.
You're looking at
I
them.
know,
You
I
give
know.
you know
With
when
all
she
your
checks out your
energy.
whole drip, like,
Yeah.
I see you, boy. Like,
Yeah.
I see you, like that shit right there. I already know what type of time we on. You know what I'm saying, twin? Like, yo, let's go.
But
Like,
you know what though?
yeah.
Like sometimes I'm not gonna lie. Like I don't really like for a girl to come up to me, especially in a public setting, unless I really give her that okay. Because I've been in a lot of scenarios where it's like girls are coming on to me and it's like they have expectations for me to have to talk to them or for me to have to entertain them. And it's like, realistically, I don't know you. You need to wait until I kind of give you a signal to say that I'm interested in you instead of just come and barge into me like a savage. And because you're a female, you think that automatically I have to like
Yeah.
cater to you.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
That flip.
That's
That,
fair.
I didn't think it was gonna go there.
Because
That
no,
was-
this guy knows. I'm sorry, but I've been dealing with this, and it's like, yo, it's getting me in situations where I have to like, you know what I mean? Like, people are feeling like have a right to touch me or like come at me, and it's like, hey, no.
Yeah, and you're a human being. Like, you have every right to be like, whoa, I don't want you to do that. Like, you get to have boundaries too. And I do think that's overlooked because you're a man.
Yeah.
Where, you know, it's like if a man were to just like touch my hair, it's like everyone's gonna be like, whoa, whoa, whoa,
Right.
relax. But if a
Well,
girl's to like touch your
girl,
shoulder and you're like, hey, don't do that, everyone's gonna be like, relax. Like, she's
They'll
just
grab you.
yeah,
I'll be
for
honest,
the most
though.
part. That's wrong though. Like, you guys have every right to be like, I don't want that. I don't want you to touch me. I would say, like, on the other hand, a big turn off for me personally is men who I can tell when a man does not view women as people. Like
Like, he just
it
views
is
them as a
so
piece of meat.
clear as an object, and it's like they talk at you. They're asking you a question. They're not really listening to you. They're just waiting for them to be able to
Right.
say something to try and impress you. To me, being talked at, it's a big, big ick. Like, if you're not genuinely, I need genuine connection in a conversation, even if I just meet you. And if I feel like that's not it, I'm not interested.
Absolutely. And do you find that the majority of men that you get in contact with are able to satisfy that emotional intelligence, or no?
Not at all.
Toronto
Like,
man.
nope.
Yo, bottom line, mans are not emotionally intelligent. Like, this is how
But
we
can
are.
I give you guys like a tip with women?
Okay, sure.
Ask questions. Like, ask questions. Like, be genuinely
Interested,
curious
yeah.
about
But yo, you know,
About what?
it
About
doesn't
what?
work all the
About
time.
her.
It doesn't work all the time.
About
it doesn't.
her,
And that's just life. Like, it's not always gonna work. But like,
your family? Like, what kind of things do you think?
Basic conversation skills. A lot of men I've met just lack. And like a big part of communication is like actively listening. You know what I mean? Like when someone's speaking, you can really impress a girl by being good at communication. If she feels like, damn, he's really listening to me, you're going to stand out already. Because so many men don't do that already, right?
This generation is next
So,
level.
so,
like,
so I want to ask. Go
having
ahead.
conversations.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like even the conversations are so short. They don't even ask you what are you doing anymore. It's like WYD.
It's because of the
You know, like,
G2
everything's
Gs,
They don't care.
WYAs, B2Bs.
That's all
That's
that.
why.
It's like-
You get it?
Yeah, it's hard to have a conversation like that.
We're just trying to short everything.
Sending
Yeah.
emojis.
No
the one who
call.
talks
We
with
only want to
emojis.
text.
Yeah.
Like we're losing that communication. Like
Yeah.
especially the next generations who just always been on the phone and stuff.
Yeah. Because I mean, we come from a generation of phones, like having that phone, that long cord, and trying to reach to the room, like just I'm having long conversations on the phone,
Right.
type,
That,
you know.
that was my.
Now
like,
no one wants to talk on the phone.
No.
Don't call me, text me.
I can't do that. I hate texting.
Yeah. Right. What was the Okay, I did want to ask you a question though. Okay,
Yeah.
right. So like, again about like the whole wrist thing, right?
Mm-hmm.
So is it true that women know within the first 7 seconds when they see a guy whether or not they're gonna give this guy their time? 7 seconds. This is a thing that I read it online. Remember, I'm on the timeline stuff.
Now, is it visually or like speaking to the person?
They
for
just
7
see them. They say
seconds?
that, like, I know as soon as I see. They say as soon as I see a guy, I know within the first 7 seconds whether I'm gonna talk to him or not.
Personally, no. Because there's so much more that goes into it for me to see if I'm going to give you my time or not. Like, I'm so big on emotional intelligence. I'm not going to know that in 7 seconds.
Exactly.
You know, like, I don't want to be bored. Like,
So
I don't want to be bored because you don't understand yourself. You don't understand other people. You don't understand how to have a conversation. Like, that's boring to me, you know?
So you're open to having a conversation. So I guess the conversation where I was coming from, right, is more so seeing or finding your attraction in that person immediately, right? So it's like, have you ever found yourself in a situation where you enjoy someone's company, but
Yeah.
they're not your
Physical attraction.
because you notice that like you ever see like women like a very attractive woman, you see her with like this guy, I'm like how I'm like, what doesn't make
Yeah.
sense, right?
Yeah.
We're trying to figure it out, but he's listening to her. That's his thing, right? So he's listening to her.
Oh, he's doing more
He's
than
doing
listening.
like he's you know what I mean. He's giving her
Yeah.
the like all those key
Yeah.
points that you were mentioning, right?
Yeah.
And so it's like, have you ever found yourself in a situation where you really enjoy this person because they're listening, but they're like you're okay to settle with them not being the your most attractive pick?
Yeah, honestly, like, energy's big too. Like, the way you carry yourself can make you so much more attractive. And it goes the other way around too. Like, you can see a man that's like, 6'6", well built, handsome face, but then he starts talking and you're like, ugh. You know?
Right.
Yeah.
So, yeah, like, physical attraction can definitely be built over time. The way you carry yourself, the way you smell, the way you talk, like, what you're interested in. I don't know.
Yeah.
So many things go into it, and it's like, damn, okay. At
It's
first,
interesting,
no,
right?
no.
Because how men
Yeah.
move kind of more so. It's like you can't be attracted to me along the way. You have to be attracted to me right immediately.
Yeah.
Right. So it's like it's more like it's more like you run into like men fall into things like faster than women do.
Yeah.
Women take a little bit more time to be convinced that like that.
Yeah,
we should be
because
spending our time, you know?
man, we see a baddie, we're just attracted to it off the rip. But it's like more times if you really like sit down with these so-called baddies, you realize they're airheads.
It's the
like,
same thing. You
it's
can't
like,
even be
feel
with them
like
for too long.
they
You
can't
don't wanna
even
be
have
with them.
simple convo with them because it's like their way of thinking is just like it's so pathetic.
And men too. Like,
Yeah.
you'll sit down with a man that's a baddie, and like you're like, damn,
Whoa,
he's
man,
a baddie, and
a
then you
baddie,
sit
we're
down and you're
baddie
like, damn, he's an
friends.
airhead. You know, like it goes the same way. Like, honestly, it's the same thing.
So I want to ask you, as a woman, would you choose a more attractive, a physically good-looking person that you're super sexually attracted to, over a person who basically is like emotionally intelligent? Like, what do you prefer? So, like, what would you prefer? Someone who's your 100% match in terms of physical attraction, but lacking in the emotional intelligence, or someone who's lacking in their physical attraction, but really high up there in emotional intelligence?
I've done way too much therapy and work on myself to choose the first one. Like, I need emotional connection. Like, and looks fade over time. emotional attraction can build a lot of intimacy and physical attraction too. So if you're the right person for me emotionally, we can definitely be like sexually attracted to each other over time. But if I'm attracted to you physically, a year from now, I'm gonna hate your guts if you don't have anything else. You know, I'm gonna be like, this guy has nothing else that brings me to him other than what he looks like, and then that's gonna fade. And then there's nothing. So I need the emotional stuff personally. Like I need that for sure.
You know what's crazy? I find like in relationships, I don't know if you're like this, but sometimes you could kind of be like a healer. You're like, you see this person who's damaged, but you see they have potential, and you're like, I want to make that person emotionally intelligent. I want to like, you know, help that person.
Don't do it.
Don't do it.
Don't do
I'll
it.
agree. Don't do it. But we get caught in that trap a lot where
yeah.
we want to be healers.
Yeah.
We want to see the good in people. But like she said, once you do so much healing, you realize that's not your battle to fight.
No, it's not.
Yeah.
It's not.
You need someone who's at that same level. Their cup is full.
Yeah.
Your cup is full. You're not trying to fill someone else's cup.
Yep.
And losing yourself.
Yep. Absolutely. You can't. You
That's
honestly
dangerous.
can't do that for anyone else. You
Yeah.
can't save people.
Yeah.
You cannot do it. You can like work with someone
Yeah.
to build a healthy thing together, but you cannot like work for someone to build them up. Like that's
What did J. Cole say? Don't save her.
She don't wanna be saved.
You have to bust
And it's
up,
the truth.
boom, boom, boom,
It's
splash
the
that right
truth.
now.
Wait,
It's
I'm
the
curious.
truth.
I'm curious. Have any of you guys ever done therapy?
No.
No?
I've done a meditation retreat, like, you know, for 15 days, like just kind of like a therapy, you know what I'm
Okay,
saying? Where I
nice.
was studying with like teachers and really dedicating 15 full days to try to like clear my mind and
I actually never did like a real therapy, like sit down with like you know, like a therapist and actually talk about my feelings and so
Yeah.
on. I don't know. I find it's just so commercialized. Like,
I get that.
you know what I mean?
I
Like,
get that, yeah.
why am I sitting down talking
Listen.
to a therapist because this guy has a title? Like, you know what I mean? I can go talk to my peers or like someone that I really love, and they can really just like, you know, tell me, yo, fix up, or you know what I'm saying?
Yo, fix up.
I'm telling you,
Yo,
like,
bro,
fix
fix
up,
up.
you
Is
know?
that what you do for him?
Yeah,
Yeah,
like, yo,
it's
bro,
different.
fix up.
Yo, fix
Like, that's
up.
the,
But you know-
fix up.
you know-
Fix up, you know what I'm
sometimes that's
saying?
all you need to
But
hear.
there's different forms of therapy.
Yeah.
Like what you're talking about sounds
Hood
like
therapist.
psycho and you're
Go see
talking
your
about the
local hood
therapy where you would be
today,
like
folks.
sitting down and like trying to think about your feelings and where they came from. But there's also like different forms of therapy where you can have like a life coach. And that's a form of therapy, right?
Really?
Yeah, there's
A
like
life coach.
behavioral
Life
therapy.
coach is really important.
What, a guy that's
Yeah.
gonna teach you how to go about life.
Yeah, they can
Bro, you need a
guide you in your
mentor.
career, a mentor. These are all forms of therapy, right? And I don't know. I feel like it's so. I think everyone should like
It's
consider
stigmatized.
it.
As you can see, it's
It
very
is, for
stigmatized.
sure.
Like, you feel like I have a problem because I'm going to go see a therapist. I remember I did go once.
Yeah.
I talked to a therapist and I literally had to go do it for an hour.
Yeah.
And I did not like it at all. I'm sorry, but like for my personal type, maybe something's still wrong with me and that's the issue, but I don't know, I kind of feel like I have already done a lot of healing myself because I did meditation retreats. I've really disciplined myself and went through my own journey.
Yeah.
So for me to go and sit in a room and rehash my past and all this negativity, in my heart I'm like, I'm over all this.
Yeah.
Why am I talking about all this and like
I
having
know.
to
Why am
do
I
all this?
talking
That's
to
fair.
this
All in
this
the past.
motherfucker judging me and shit?
Well,
Like,
one, that could also have been the wrong therapist for you. But two, maybe you would be better in like, and maybe you don't need it, and that's totally fine. Not everyone needs to do it, but like, you could even, you know, there's different forms of therapy like behavioral therapy where they're not focusing on like your thoughts and like going over the past. They're just like, you have this, you get triggered by this, let's change the
Yes.
behavior. You know what I
Yes,
mean?
yes.
And you could benefit from that.
Like a
maybe.
life coach or mentor.
Yes.
That
Yeah.
was something that I really, really would want to do. Honestly, I read a lot of books, and they say one of the most first things you got to do to become rich in life is to get a mentor. Almost every rich person has a mentor.
Mm-hmm.
Life coach. I actually took a life coach class in college, and it was the most sickest course that I took. It was like basically the teacher was a life coach. And it's basically to have someone there, like you said, to hold you accountable,
Yeah.
analyze you, a third perspective that has no affiliation with you, who's kind of like, hey, this is how you come off. This is the things, this is your habit, this is what you do. And then it's like, it puts you in check.
Yeah, and that's the basis of it. Like, I think everybody is in charge of like making sure like you know where you fall short, you know what you bring to the table, and you know what you need to work on, and you're actively trying to like actually become better, because then you're just projecting all your shit on everyone around you. If you have kids, now you're going to traumatize them, you know what I mean? So it's like I think it's everyone's duty to just in some form, maybe it's reading books, watching YouTube videos, but just like being aware of like what you need to actually focus on and like work at, you know?
I think what's beautiful about that is that through all this darkness that we say, oh, the world is trending this and that, one thing I could say, human beings are all trending towards that spiritual awakening and growing and becoming more open-minded. So that's one thing we could really like see some light coming in the future. There's a big awakening happening.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Because if you look at like our parents' generation, like I think a lot of us can agree that like you mentioned therapy and they're like, "What? Are you crazy? Like, what's wrong with
Very
you?" You know?
stigmatized.
Yeah,
Yeah,
absolutely.
they tell you to like go pray.
Yeah.
Like, you know,
Go
just,
pray.
like,
Yeah. Go drink water. Go
Yeah,
drink tea.
something's like.
Well, that's the thing, right? We're kind of moving into like the wellness and being aware kind of stage, and everyone wants to live this healthy lifestyle, and that's why we have this podcast, is for us to be sitting down and sharing peace of mind, you know, and having this rich diet way of thinking.
And it's so cool because it's
Yeah.
our way of thinking, our generation, our age group. We're getting to show the world we're the future, and we kind of have, you know, like how we kind of view the world is like, hey, it's a lot more open-minded. You know, I feel like we're gonna be one of the greatest leaders the world's ever seen. Like us '90s babies, when we really get a chance to take power, I feel like we're very powerful. So that's why I like this.
There's a lot of great leaders already that are coming from the '90s, and you know they are already like setting their landmarks in like various like ways, like you know through art, through like acting, through teaching, through you know what I mean, fitness, all these things that are creating, you know, like this, like inspiring this highest form of human act. You know what I'm saying? And like it's beautiful. It's a beautiful thing to witness, you know. And we in that time, and you know, like just your poetry, like yo, that shit is amazing. Like just
Thank you.
seeing the way you like articulate your words and how it all makes sense in a small form, like maybe 3-4 sentence, but it like it has such a deep meaning. You know what I mean? I love that. Like I love that for you.
Thank you.
And it could be looked at as a form of therapy too.
Yeah, it could be
You know what I mean?
It could be looked at
Because
as
like I wanted to just add one more thing to the topic real quick, because it's important. I think it's important to like focus on getting yourself in a good headspace, because you know like I feel like we're in a generation now where a lot of people are you know feeling feelings, right, and not necessarily doing something about it. Right, so it's like you find it like you meet somebody, right, and you know they tell you they have like anxiety, right? You ask them, okay, what are you doing about it, right? They're like, nothing. I'm just letting you know so that you work around it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And just little things like that, you know.
Yeah, I love that, man. I think it's a big topic we should touch on, because in our generation, our day and age, especially this time, it's like there's so many people, like you said, battling anxiety, depression. Mental health is a huge thing. People are suicidal. People are going through a lot of stuff, right? And I think that topic is huge because we always talk about like how can we treat someone who's like that, but it's also like how can you be preventative? You know what I mean? What are this lifestyle choices that you should make to keep yourself in that positive state? You know, how do you combat these things? You can't live your same lifestyle and expect to like lose your anxiety and lose your depression. You have to make changes in your life.
You have
your
to.
environment, the way you think. You have to make lots of changes to see results.
And also just to make your life easier, because the world is not going to cater to your triggers. You're like, oh, that triggers me. Well, it's like, that's going to happen, and you have to figure out how you're going to navigate through life with all the triggers, right?
Absolutely.
So
it's
on us.
I'm calling it now. Health and wealth segment. Right?
Segment.
Yeah, rich diet.
Yeah,
right? Rich diet. Health and wealth segment,
this
right?
podcast has
like,
had the most value out of all of our episodes right now. 100%.
Wow.
It's like
Love that.
topics that need to be discussed more.
What
like,
triggers you as a writer, like in terms of like creativity or just shit that's happening right now?
I feel like I've written a lot about like racism, to be honest. Like in my book, I feel like it's a lot about like the triggers of being a young Indian girl trying to assimilate. And at the time when I came to Canada, I was around a lot of white people. And that was very triggering for me because, you know, when you're a kid, you don't understand, like, me and you are different. Like, we're...
You don't see that as a kid, yeah.
No, like, you know, you don't see, like, black and brown and white until somebody at some point tells you there's a difference here, and then you're like, oh, okay.
And then until you experience it at a certain age. I feel like once you hit that 8, 9 years old and you experience like some sort of like racism or like rejection, you're like, oh.
I remember like my very first experience with racism, the first one that I can remember. I was playing with a girl from my neighborhood, and I had this downstairs tenant who was a Jamaican girl, and her and I were like best friends. And she was, I don't know where she was like inside or something. And I remember I was telling the other girl like, oh, we're going to go play with her. And we must have been like 5 years old. And I was like, we're going to go play with her. And she told me, no, my mom told me we can't play with her. And I was like, why? And she was like, because she's black.
Wow.
And that was my first time even acknowledging that she was black.
Yeah.
Like I just, like I was so innocent, I didn't even think about it, right? But I remember in that moment, I was like, what? You're telling me I can't play with my friend? Like, I play with her every day. She lives in my basement. Like, what do you mean? And then I went home to my mom and I was like, Mom, is it true that I can't play with this girl because she's black? And my mom was like, who said that to you? Because my mom is so advanced. She's always been so advanced with her thinking.
She's a writer.
Yeah, absolutely. She's an amazing person. And I remember she was like, never, ever, ever choose your friends based on that. There is nothing wrong with having friends that are black or white or brown or whatever. Absolutely. Shout out to Mama Khan.
Let's go. Big ups. Big ups. Ba, Mama Khan.
But like, yeah, so a lot of the book is like, it's not just about like heartbreak and stuff. It's like a lot of that trauma of like racism directed towards me, my friends, whatever it was. But yeah. Like,
but I feel like a lot of that also too is like rooted into like the nurture of like the parents, like you know, when the parent nurture their kids, like you said, like that kid did not want to say that, but he was taught, like whoever, was it a boy or
it was a girl,
a girl, she was taught that through her parents. You know what I'm saying?
Her mom told her that.
Exactly. So it's like a lot of it is like rooted back to like the people that are actually raising us. So it's like, as like parents, it's like, yo, some parents are so like old-fashioned, ignorant, or you know what I'm saying? It's like, it's kind of like it spreads out. You know what I mean? And it's like, if we can get over that, or if we can just like even us individuals now that are going to be living our life to become parents, if we can evolve from that, I feel like this thing could subside. You know what I'm saying? Yeah.
That's why that inner work, however you want to do it, like, just make sure, because we're past like so much ancestral trauma, generational trauma is put on you that you don't even know about.
You don't know about it. Yeah, it's crazy.
Like, when you really look inside, you guys know, like, and this is like a different kind of example, but like when you get into a relationship, all of a sudden you're seeing all these different sides of you.
Yeah. Absolutely.
And you're like, what? Where did that come from? Like, I never seen her before.
Yeah, absolutely. 100%.
Like, that's another.
Yeah.
It's another example of it, right?
It provokes, being in a relationship provokes sides of you that you never really have to challenge, you know? Yeah. And that's when I was saying, like, my first relationship, I learned to see so much jealousy in me that I never seen before.
Yeah.
And it was such a big reflection. Like, a relationship can be such a reflection in the mirror to show you who you really are.
Yeah.
You know?
Your ugliest parts will really come out. Ooh. You'll find so much love, like, you'll feel so much love too sometimes, but it could be dark. And you're like, damn.
It's crazy.
Yeah.
Because you love someone so much that you're like controlling, you're possessive, you see all these sides of you that's like, you're insecure. At the end of the day, all of those like negative traits are coming from your own insecurity and your own lack of growth and your own cup not being full.
We're living in a world where like the population is like, it's out of this like control. Like, you know, everyone is like, doesn't know that there's someone out there that can relate to you. You know what I mean? And it's like, it's moments like these that we share with each other, and you're like, I thought that way, or I believe that theory. You know what I mean? So we're like, it's that time is like, we have these platforms to actually talk and discuss moments and like, you know, experience that could be relatable, and Do you ever find times when you're like, let's say with your peers, and you notice like, yo, my girl went through a situation and I could learn from that, or I could take something out of that, or sometimes you're like, I'm not gonna do what she just did because it's just like,
Yeah, honestly, my friends and I are very open with each other, so we really get into it. And anytime we're together, it's always like a heart to heart. We always come to revelations where we're like, hey, we just solved that issue, we just healed that. Like we get deep, and we definitely learn from each other and are very honest with each other about what we think and hold each other accountable, right?
accountable, yeah.
But I also grew up with sisters.
Okay, sisterhood.
Older sisters, yeah. So like I got to kind of see, the decisions that they made and kind of figure out like, okay, how do I want to move based on like how my sisters are moving? Because I always looked up to them. So I would kind of like learn from them, and they would kind of guide me. So I feel like, yeah, if you're not like inspired and like moving better because of the people around you, you really got to reevaluate the types of friends that you have.
I agree.
Honestly.
But I find it is easier for sisterhood for you guys to actually help and pull each other together. But for manhood, would you say that is a challenge? Like based off your experience,
Pulling each other up.
pulling each other up, or learning something from a guy, or like your friends.
I guess it isn't common like growing up, because men are like meant to, or at least they're taught like to fend for themselves, like always like
you're a man.
Yeah, you're a man. Figure it out.
Figure
like
it out.
you go
Like,
out
you
there.
got this.
Yeah, like barbarian style. Like you just
Yeah,
figure
like,
it out. Yeah.
With the sword,
But I feel like today, like the generation that we're in right now, right, there's a little bit more compassion for like what we're like, the things that happen. It's like because there's a strong brotherhood. I feel like at least in my life, right? I feel like there's like it's like you turn to your brother, you turn to like your neighbor, you turn to your neighbor, like the same way, right? But yeah, I feel like there needs to be more of it. I feel like there could be more of it, right?
I feel like for
because
men,
there's too much of the
we
whole,
hold
like,
back.
Yeah, it's held back a lot. And you see like women help each other all the time. Women like women for women type thing, right? And yeah, I think there could be more of it for sure. There could be more.
What do you think?
I think like I think men we have a really strong brotherhood, like you said. We're super strong brotherhood, and we do try to put our best foot forward to try to give each other game. But I notice a lot of us, we lack even the knowledge to give the game, so it's almost like the blind leading the blind.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
yeah,
With man, I'm like, yo, man, let me give you this advice, but it's like the worst advice. Yeah. And then we go follow and we're like, damn, why do we do that? So the intentions are pure, but I feel like a lot of men are not emotionally or like just evolve as a man to really put you on game. That's why it's good sometimes to have OGs as men, because it's like come older people who kind of really been through it, and they could be like exactly like you said, having older sisters where they can put you on game. But people our own age, oftentimes we do try to show that love. We do try to be there.
Listen, we do. I do believe that we try to help, and there is that sense of like brotherhood, but there's also a thing that stops us a lot, and it's ego.
Right.
Ego gets in the way.
Like okay, like they say, especially in Toronto, they say like people don't want to see you shine more than them. So like a lot of the times, men that maybe will hold back from giving you game because they don't want you to advance too far.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Gatekeepers.
And it's a sad reality. It's a sad reality.
Am I lying?
It's a sad reality.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I'm a firm believer that if you move with the type of energy that is not always thinking about, oh, that person didn't help me. Oh, why aren't they doing this for me? And you're moving with like, I'm going to do this for this person. I'm going to mention this person's name in this room. You're going to get those people, your tribe will find you.
Yeah.
You have to move with that energy, and you will find it. But if you're only like wondering why people aren't doing things for you, you're just going to attract other people who are thinking that way.
And then more times.
And then you're in this echo chamber of everyone's like, why is no one helping me? Why is no one, like,
and
it's
if
like,
you do find people to help you, it's like you're counting favors. You know what I'm saying? I did a favor for you. You're not doing this favor for me. Like.
It's the energy that you're attracting.
Your vibe attracts your tribe.
Absolutely.
Your vibe attracts your tribe.
Absolutely.
And you know what, Bills? Even me and you, right? We've been friends for a long time now, right?
Yeah.
And I've seen us as men grow so much.
Yeah.
Where we were more ignorant and egotistical and not wanting to see each other shine, even though we are been best of friends, because we are not at a certain maturity level, right?
Yeah.
But the love was always there.
Yeah.
Of course, the love
You
is
know what I
always
mean?
there.
Yeah.
So you kind of have to work through it with your brethren. You can't leave your team behind, because at the end of the day, we gotta, you know what I mean? Like we're not perfect in this world. We all need to evolve. We need to mature, and it's like your vibe attracts your tribe. When I was more ignorant, yeah, all my friends were ignorant, and now that I've evolved, the people who evolved with me are still here, and people who are not on this frequency anymore, they're like not in my world anymore.
They're not even around.
Definitely. You have to know when it's worth working through with your friends too, because like same with me, like my best friends, like we have gone through a lot. Like my oldest best friend, like we've been friends since we were like 11 years old, right?
Wow.
So
That's rare.
Over a decade of friendship. So it's like we've gone through it's like a marriage. We've gone through so many phases of our friendship, and we've like really worked at it, and now we're at such a good place. So we've had moments where we were moving with ego and pride and like not, you know, doing
But you
the
think
best.
that also like stems down to like just going through different phases, like being like, you know, when you're a teenager, your hormones are running wild. You know what I mean? You have like different kind of like, you know, like different episodes. You're more stubborn. You're more like, you know what I'm saying? Like, I feel like that plays a part a lot.
Yeah, it does.
You know, like you're stubborn, your hormones are kicking in, you're horny all the time, or you fucking hungry all the time. You just don't want to share your plate. Like nowadays, it's like I go out, you know what I'm saying, and it's like more times like I can't go out with my buddies and like and I just eat in front of them. I can't do that. I have to like, yo, you want to share this with me? Like, boom. It's just like, you know what I mean? It's just like, yo, let's share. The love is more than just like seeing me shine by myself.
That's the key word, love. Because when you're young, you're hurt. I don't know about y'all, but when I was a teenager, I was a hurt damn teenager. I'm mad at my parents. I'm mad at my family. I'm mad at the government.
You're mad at the world. You're mad at everyone.
The teachers, everyone's out against me. It's me and my gang. Everyone, you know, against me and my gang. You know, I was so ignorant like that. But like as Bill said, you get more love in your heart. You start forgiving. You start understanding. You start growing. Then you don't have so much hate in your heart. You don't have so much animosity.
Yeah.
So then it's like, I want to share. I want to do things because before I didn't because I was like, I had all this anger inside me. But now I have a lot more love. I'm a lot more free, so I can give more love. Yeah. You know?
Yeah, and you need your community, honestly. Yeah. Like, we need that badly. And, like, personally, when I think about being successful, it's like, it's only going to be fun if all my people are there with me, too.
Right? Yeah,
like,
absolutely.
You know? I don't want to be the only one.
That was a
like,
big
that's
realization,
not fun.
100%.
Yeah.
Sometimes people are like, yo, I'm going to cut off everyone.
Why?
Well, then what? You're going to cut off everyone? You're going to be at the top
when you're at the top and you don't have no one to share that wealth with. It's like, what's the point?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? What's that saying we were saying earlier this week? We're like, you can go faster by yourself,
but you go further with the right people.
Right. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. I love that.
Exactly. And that's just a rich diet way of thinking, and that's what we want to share with you viewers, with you people at home, wherever you watching this. You know, we appreciate you guys for tuning in. You know, sitting here all the way to the end of this podcast. Big shout out to our guest today. You know what I'm saying?
Juju brought the vibes today, guys.
Brought the spiritual vibes.
Let's go.
This episode, we lead it in with a prayer. It was like a really powerful episode with a lot of value, you know, with a lot of beautiful perspectives and a lot of like knowledge. So if you made it to the end of this video, we love you. Like and comment if you feel the same, like this was full of value. If you want to see more episodes with this style, let us know. Go and buy Juju's book right now on Amazon.
Yeah, she's ready for war.
She's ready for war.
Ready for
As
war.
you can see, she has a lot of value to bring to the table, so that book is going to be an amazing read. Everyone go check it out.
Yep. Go download Decoy's
New album, Healing Phase.
Go
We've
check
been
that out.
talking
Go
about being in healing phases all episode.
Come on.
That's the soundtrack to your healing phase right there.
Let's go.
Check that out.
A boy is still healing.
Still healing.
Forever healing.
Yeah, forever healing. You know what? That should be the next album.
Forever
healing.
No, it should be still healing, and then the next one forever healing.
We're just always healing, you know?
And that's the truth.
And you know what? The world needs some healing. That's what we all need, right? Everyone needs healing.
Heal the world. Make it a better place. For you and for me and the entire human race.
Hey.
There are people dying.
People dying.
And if you care enough for the living,
Was this Frank
for
Sinatra?
you and for me, Michael Jackson,
Oh.
man. Heal the world,
Heal the
Michael
world, heal the
Jackson.
world.
Heal the
Oh,
world.
the way you were singing, it sounded like Frank, bro. All
Nah, that was
right.
good. It was good.
That was so
That's
good.
That's amazing. That's amazing.
Like, comment, subscribe, share. This is a Rich Diet Podcast, episode
go.
7. We
J
love y'all.
Poet, J Poet in the house. It's your boy Aaron Bills, and we love you guys. Jacory in the motherfucking house.
Juju in the house.
Juju on
But
that
now,
beat.
I got a new seat.
Let's
we
go.
out.
We out. One love and peace.